Hi guys, we're going to go through some of this parallel and perpendicular stuff, and I'm going to go kind of quick, but you have the ability to, slow down the video, to pause the video, so please do so if I start going way too fast. So whenever you have parallel lines, the lines are parallel if the slopes are the same. Easy enough. If the slopes are the same, then they're parallel. Now, what they're going to do here is they're going to give you a point and an equation. What they want you to do is to look at this and only pull the slope out. So I look at it, I say, oh, my slope is -5. So I'm just going to write it down. And I'm going to use this coordinate. And I'm going to plug it all into my point slope form, which I did here. Okay, and I know that's fast, but, we did this last class. Hopefully this is not review. I'm just taking the x1, y1, and the slope, and I'm plugging it in. And so I get my point slope form. Now, what if I don't want point slope form and I want slope intercept form? So again, we practiced last class. You're going to distribute the -5, which I show here in the red, and then I subtract the 2 over to get negative or positive 23. Now guys, look. My slope up here is -5. My slope down here is -5. If the slopes are the same, look up here, if the slopes are the same, you know the lines are parallel. And you have to go through this entire process to get the new intercept. So that's kind of the point. So in Canvas, it'll tell you when you get in there, you're going to type in either point slope or slope intercept. Your homework will tell you as well. But we need to know how to do both. So once again, I want to label x1, y1. They give you this equation that's not the highlighter, just to pull out your slope. Okay, so I'm going to get the highlighter, find this is my slope. I'm going to bring it over here and write it. And I always like to write my equation first. It helps get familiar with it. It helps me just know what I need to plug in. So my y1's 3. And my x1's 4, and I just drop my slope in of a -1/4. So remember, this is point slope form. Point slope form. Now to go to slope intercept form, again, you're going to distribute the -1/4, and my little box kind of covers it up. That is a -1/4, right? Your slope's -1/4. And then I add 3 over. And so this is my answer. Now, whenever you have one point like this, and they give you just like x equals 3, we know this is, sorry, I was doing something here. Let's restart this over. This one was wrong. This is an undefined slope, so it's not horizontal. It is vertical. So I'm going to go over here to 1, 2, 3, and put my line. And so you can see the slope is undefined. It goes straight up and down. Now, you're wanting another undefined slope, so you know it's going to be x equals something. Okay, so there is a fast way to do this. Let's do it the long way one time. If I graph this point, if I go over to -3 and up to 5, and it is undefined again, do you see that's just going through -3? Isn't that the x value, which is -3? So the rule is, if this is x is 3 and you want the line parallel to it, you just look at the x value. So what if I wanted y is 3 and my coordinate is -3, 5? What would be the new equation? Well, we know this is horizontal. My y value is 5. The new equation would just be y equals 5. Yeah, so don't make those harder than what they really are. Make sure you write it down and refer back to it as needed. So if two lines are perpendicular, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. Opposite reciprocals. Okay, for a quick example, if I have 2/5, the opposite would be negative, and then I would flip it. So those two together are opposite reciprocals. Now, something you need to notice, if I were to multiply these, first of all, negative times a positive is a negative. 2 times 5 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10. And this simplifies to -1. So another key fact about this is they always multiply to -1. So multiply to -1. Okay, so we're going to do this again. And let's do the numbers 6, -6. Okay, so what would be the opposite reciprocal? Okay, so technically this is over 1. The opposite would be positive, and you'd flip it and get 1/6. All right, and let's do one more. And the pen's not working. Okay, what about 9/7? And so the opposite reciprocal would be -7/9. Okay, so on the next part, we're going to do something similar, but now we're going to do perpendicular. So you're going to look here, and you're going to pull out the slope. So my slope is the -3. And what I need you to do is find the perpendicular slope. So you're going to change it to the opposite and flip it. So it's 1/3. Okay, and so now what you're going to do is you're going to use this new slope, not this one, and your point to write an equation. So this is x1, y1. So let's write the equation that we need. And so this is y minus 2 equals 1/3 x minus 6. So this is point slope form. Now if you look, this form does not look like this form because one is point slope, one slope intercept. So let's convert it to the other form. Again, we're going to do that by distributing. So y minus 2 equals 1/3 x. So you can use a calculator if you like. But I know a negative here times a positive is a negative. And it's 6/3, which reduces to a 2. Now, I'm going to move the 2 over by addition. Now, when I do that, do you see how they both cancel out? So I'm left with y equals 1/3 x. All right, let's do the next one. The given slope here is 5. The opposite reciprocal slope is a -1/5. I'm going to use the 0.22. So y minus 2 equals, again, don't use this one, we're using this new slope, a -1/5 x minus 2. Now, let's convert this to slope-intercept form. So y minus 2, let's distribute. A -1/5 x, negative times a negative is a positive, and that is a positive 2/5. Now, I'm not finished. I have to add the 2 over. So this is y equals a -5 over, or 5, -1/5 x plus, and I mean, it's just 2 2/5, which is 2.4, if that helps you. And you could use a calculator. It's fine. All right, last one in this section. The given slope. Oh, look at it. Now remember, y equals mx plus b. They don't give you an x value. So if it's not there, it means your slope is 0. So what is the opposite of horizontal? And that would be vertical, which is undefined. So I need an x equal answer. So remember, you just look up here and you say, what's my x value, which is -2. 3. And that is it. Those are the easiest. Are the lines parallel, perpendicular? Explain. Okay, so when you do these, you can't just look at it. You have to do some work. So we're going to count the slope out. So we're going to count how many up and over and how many up and over. If the numbers are the same, they're going to be parallel. Obviously, they're not going to be perpendicular. I can tell you that. So up, 2? And over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that is 1/3 slope. I'm going up 2 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, guys, on these, you need to show some kind of work. Okay, you can't just give me an answer. You got to show me how you got it. So, since the slopes are the same, the answer is parallel. Your work can just be this. It's fast and easy. Now, on this next one, obviously they're not parallel. So either the answer is going to be they're perpendicular or it's nothing. Like they're neither parallel nor perpendicular. Okay, so I'm going to count up and over. So up 1, 2, 3, over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this simplifies to a half. So let's do the next one. Up and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now this is a negative graph, so this is negative 8 over 4, which is negative 2 over 1. Well, 1 is a positive half. You flip it and you get 2 over 1, and it's negative, so this is perpendicular. All right. Rewrite each equation in slope-intercept form. If necessary, then determine whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. Okay, so we need to solve these for y. That's what it boils down to. Solve for y. Let's write that down. Solve for y. And put into y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so if I'm solving for y, I have to first move x. So I get 6y, that cancels, equals negative x plus 7. And then I divide everything by 6. So I get y equals negative x over 6 plus 7/6. Now, technically, there's like an invisible 1 here. So I'm going to rewrite this, actually, and write a negative 1/6 x. That might be easier for you in the long run. This next one, I need to solve for y again. So I'm going to add x to both sides. And so I get a negative 5y equals x plus 16. I just kind of flipped it around because I like the y on the left. Then I'm going to divide every single part by negative 5. Okay. Now, remember, there's an invisible 1 here. So this is a negative 1/5 x minus 16 over 5. Now, the only thing we're really looking at is the slope. I mean, we have the intercepts, but we're not going to look at them. Now, these are close. One is a negative 1/6 and one's a negative 1/5, but they are obviously not the same. So this is neither parallel nor perpendicular. So this is neither. So for part B, yay, look, there's no work. That's your slope. And what just happened? On this one, it's y equals already, so that is your slope. So we're just going to compare the two. So are they parallel, perpendicular, or neither? Well, one of them is 1/5, and if you flip it, you get 5. But the problem is they're both positive, and one needs to be negative. So again, this is neither. All right, the next one's not going to be so easy. We got to solve for y again. So let's subtract 1/2 x from both sides. So you have 2y equals a negative 1/2 x minus 2. And then we're dividing by 2. Ouch, how do you do that? Okay, so why don't you guys go ahead and take your calculator. So your yellow ones will do fractions. If you don't have a yellow one, you know, try it on your cell phone maybe. Or I can just do it by hand and show you. So if you have, I'm just going to do it by hand, negative 1/2 divided by 2. Remember, you can't divide fractions. You have to flip the second fraction and multiply. So what this actually turns into this. And so when I multiply across the top, I get a negative 1, and across the bottom, I get 4. So this is a negative 1/4 x minus 1. Okay, so let's try to solve this one. Minus 2x minus 2x. 8y equals a negative 2x plus 8. And we're going to divide everything by 8. So y is, now let's go ahead and simplify this. That's a negative 1/4 x plus 1. All right, what do we see? I see two slopes that are the same. So that means if they're the same, they have to be parallel. Yeah, okay, last one. Now this one, if you understand these, this one's a fast one. So if it's y equals and it doesn't give you a slope, that's a horizontal line, right? And if it says x equals, that means it is a vertical line, which means they are going to be perpendicular with each other. And if you want to graph all of this, you can, just to see what it looks like. I'm a visual person. It helps me sometimes. So go at 0. It's only going to cross the x-axis once, which technically means it's on the y-axis. Now go to the y-axis, go to negative 1, and it goes through here. And so if one's vertical, one's perpendicular, or one's vertical, one's horizontal, it is definitely perpendicular. Okay. And the last question. Verify that the triangle ABC is a right triangle. Okay. So we're going to graph these points. 0, negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is point A. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is point B. Back 1, up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is point C. All right, I'm going to just try to draw this in the best that I can. All right, graph the triangle and explain your reasoning. Now, you have to show some work. You can't just guess what you think. We need work. So let's see if this is possibly a right angle, which means we have to find the slope of these two lines. So let's count up and over to find the slope of AB. So up 2 over 1, 2, 3. So my slope is 2/3. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do A to C. How many up and how many over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And over 1. Let me count that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that is negative, so I got a negative 8 over 1. Now, those two definitely are not perpendicular. And, my graph might be really bad, so I'm also going to check this line and see if it's perpendicular to the bottom. So let's count up and over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a negative graph. This is a negative 6 over 4, which is a negative 2/3. Hold up. Glad we did that. Because look, negative 2/3 and a positive 2/3, are those, does that tell you anything? I hope you're saying it actually means nothing, right? One is positive, one is negative. That is good. But the slopes have to be opposite reciprocals. One's not flipped. So, is this a right triangle? No. Explain your reasoning. Well, my reasoning is the slopes are negative 2/3, negative 8 over 1, and 2/3, which aren't, ooh, my handwriting is really bad, aren't perpendicular. All right, I think we made it through. All right, good job. If you have any questions, sign up for a tutorial, message your teacher, and